Hey, it's Lanesh Devotee here again with another 40k Conquest card game on OCTGN for you. I'm up against Talyesin Fharenal this time, played by Killazit, who is usually far too good for me, and I'm running my Zogwort Swarm of Orcs. So we've got Elwith, Fharenal, Osis, Ivan, and Karnath up first. So one of each colour for planets 1, 2, and 3, a tricolour at planet 4, and then we start getting interesting. So really none of those first 3 planets are particularly important. Yeah, it's an interesting layout. And also Fharenal, Osis, and Ivan, I believe, are all resource only planets, so there's not a lot of card draw here. There's Elwith and Karnath are basically it to start with. So Zogwort, when he commits to a planet or attacks, he generates a Snotling token, but he destroys them all at the end of the combat phase. And Talyesin adds +1 attack to a warrior or psyker card at her planet, and if there is a warrior and psyker at the planet, they get +1 hit point as well. I think I might have that backwards, I'm not sure. But anyway, she gives a boost to warriors and psykers at her planet. So I decided to keep this. I thought I've got enough cheap-ish units, but in particular I have the Black Crusade Elite Unique Orc Crackfang, which was what originally inspired me to try and put together a bit of a Zogwort Swarm deck. So I put out an Enraged Orc onto Fharenal. I was deciding, I think I want... I wasn't bothered with Elwith, and I wanted the decent resource income from second planet. So my Enraged Orc, 2 cost, 1 command, 0 attack, 5 hit points, and brutal. And he puts out an Earthcast Technician, 1 cost, 1 command, 1 attack, 1 hit point, but he gets to search the top 6 cards for a drone or attachment, and he picks up a Crit Hunting Rifle. It's interesting to see that he's using Tau with Talyesin. It's really unusual. You usually find Talyesin using Dark Eldar because there's a lot more warriors on that side of things, and some of the really powerful cards like Gut and Pillage or Archon's Terror. So that's quite interesting to see that he's going with the Tau Alliance. So then I drop an Evil Sun's Warbiker, this time to planet 3. So again, I'm not too worried about Planet 1 itself at this point. I'm just putting out some units sort of down the line to be issues when or wherever they come up. So the Evil Sun's Warbiker is 2 cost, 1 command, 2 attack, 2 hit point. Pretty standard sort of unit, but it gets +2 attack when there's a Warlord at the planet. And he drops a Carnivore pack onto the first planet. No command, 3 attack, 3 hit points, but when it is destroyed, you gain 3 resources, so it becomes sort of cost neutral. It's really interesting, that card. It's a warrior, so it picks up the bonuses from Talyesin, and it's a good, solid card to put down there at that first planet. So I use the Snakebite as a command unit, which is a bit of a drag. It's 2 cost, 1 command, 3 attack, 4 hit points, but after it resolves an attack, it takes a point of damage. And he uses the Baltan Guardians, really solid command. 1 cost, but 2 command hammers, so he's outdoing my Warbikers. So he stopped my Enraged Orc collecting any income, and he didn't get anything out of that, and now he's stopped my Warbikers. I put the Snakebites on Karnath, because I figure if he wants to go to Karnath with his own Warlord, the Snakebite will cause some damage to it, but he drops his signature unit, the Spiders, down there. So they are 2 cost, 2 attack, 3 hit point, 1 command, so he's blocked the command, we're at neutral command there, but after a Psyker attacks, they can move to that planet. Luckily there are no Psykers out at the moment, but the Spiders make a really good position down their line on later planets, so they can jump into a battle when needed. So I've decided to go to Planet 1 because he's not getting command there anyway, and I figure if he does go to Planet 1, I will neutralise his card draw, because I've realised actually we've not got much cards coming in to the game at the moment. But he doesn't go to Planet 1, so I do get the card draw, which is really nice. He manages to get a heck of a lot of resources there, which is a little bit frustrating. But he gets no new cards, which I think is actually really good given this planet layout. I'm thinking I need to try and stop him getting too many cards, I really do. Right, so I'm thinking this is going to be a bit of a a rough battle. I was considering maybe using Launch the Snots, but I think when I attack I generate another Snotling, and so actually I can put down quite a few Snotlings and things and take out this Carnivore pack. He'll get more resources, but actually he's got heaps of resources. It's cards that he's going to be looking for, and he's not going to get them. So that's what I'm thinking here. I'm sort of going Snotlings first to see if he has any shields that he wants to start bringing out or anything like that. So it's a really solid hit on my Warlord there. 3 hit points out of 7. That's a big smash for me. I don't think we had Iridial on the board, so I have to be really aware that that's going to cause issues. So I declare Zogwort an attacker, which creates another Snotling, ping the Carnivore pack, and then presuming no actions, I ping the pack with my Snotlings. Yep, so that's perfect, and unless he's got some action that's going to bring something in, I'm not sure that he really has any options here. Don't think. Yep, he's got nothing, it looks like. Alright, because that would have been the time. So I'm just going to clarify that I'm done, and then I am going to trigger Aloith and search for another card. So I've picked up a Crush Face, I picked up Scrabnabber. They're both pretty good. I've got I think it's Brutal Cunning at the moment, which is nice. So I've got a few bits and pieces, which is cool. Suppressive Fire is good, Brutal Cunning is good, but I want those 3 shields. I'm aware that my Warlord is quite badly hurt right now. So I'm going to want some ability to protect him. Alright, so then we move on to Fharenal, where I have an Enraged Orc that is off initiative, which is kind of perfect, really. So he's got no action, and neither do I. I was thinking, ooh, my Brutal Cunning would have been really handy here, because I could have let him get built up, I could have hit back, and then just before they were able to kill him, I could have swung a Brutal Cunning out and pinged the Warlord, the Earthcast Technician, whatever. I'm thinking I want to get his Warlord down as much as mine at the moment, so he uses that hunting rifle that he picked up before as a shield, so he ignores that 1 ping. Which is alright, I can live with that. Take 2 damage. Now I'm going to be hitting for 3 with my Brutal keyword. It allows me to add whatever my wounds is to my attack characteristic of 0. We both ready, and actually, I'm going to stick around. Oh, I'm supposed to have waited for him, but oh well. Alright, so, and then I realised I couldn't afford the Brutal Cunning, and the Launch the Snots is actually not that... there's no Snotlings with me. It's a bit of a drag. So I decide I'm going to shield that one because I don't want... So I'm now at 4. And swing for 4 against the Warlord, which he has his signature attachment, which is 3 shields. So he only takes 1 damage out of that, which is huge. And 1 more point of damage. And I'm going to block that. So I'm sitting with another 4 attack swing potentially here. He's going to stay, and I decide I want to really... I could have retreated and used the Enraged Orc elsewhere, dropped him wherever my Warlord went, whatever happened in that regard, but I really want to put as much hurt as I can onto his Warlord. So I use up my Weird Boy stick, and now I swing for 4 against his Warlord. Again, he's got another hunting rifle to drop to shield for 1, but he does take another 3 points of damage, which I'm pretty pleased by, and at that point he can kill off the Enraged Orc. I don't have any more shields that I could have even used. And he decides to drop the Snakebite. That means he's now winning command on the last planet. Whereas if he had routed the Warbikers, he was already winning command there, so it doesn't actually make a difference. Alright, so my Snotlings tokens are destroyed, and we end the turn. Pick up a Goth Boys and a Squigify. So they're pretty useful-ish. They're useful-ish, useful adjacent. So he's got a Swordwind Farseer, a 2-cost no, 3 cost, sorry, 1 command, 2 attack, 2 hit points, so that's over the cost for the stats that you get there. Normally you get whatever resources you've got, double that, and that's what you get distributed among attack and hit points usually. But it allows you to search the top 6 cards of your deck for any card that you like. So that's quite useful and is really worth the... yeah. Well, I mean, if it was a 2 cost unit, I would expect 1 command hammer, 2 attack, 2 hit points, or at least 4 statistics points distributed. But then I would expect some sort of minor ability, or maybe an extra hit point, or an extra command hammer, or, you know, just a little difference. So that 1 resource is more like 1.5 resources for the ability to search like that, really, in a sense. Alright, so now I'm thinking through the maths of, I've got Crush Face, I'd like to put him down, and I can put out, the Goth Boys could come out for free, the Scrap Nabber could come out for 1, but I've only just got enough money to pay for some things. I could do Crush Face, and I could do the Strategist. I decide I'm going to put the Goth Boys down for Planet 1, 1 cost, no command, because they're an ally, well, not because they're an ally, but they're also an ally, which is a negative trait. 0 attack, 2 hit points, but plus 3 attack when they're on the first planet, so they're good. And now I'm thinking, okay, I'll put the Scrap Nabber out at a red planet, and that's when I realise, actually, they are no good to me on any of the red planets. The Goth Boys don't have a command hammer, and the only other red planets already have 1 command hammer at each of them. So I'm thinking I really should have put Crush Face out first. The Goth Boys would have been free on that planet, and then I could have put the Scrap Nabber down for 1 on that planet as well, and I would have had 3 command hammers there, which would have meant I'd absolutely be winning the resources, and I'd have plenty of bodies on the planet that would be likely to win any battle that's coming up there. He's only got 2 cards left, so it would have been a solid use at that point, I think. So I'm really kicking myself there. I made the wrong decision with the Goth Boys, I'm fairly sure. So instead I decided I'm going to use my Blood Axe Strategist. He's 3 cost, 2 command, 2 attack, 4 HP, but after an Orc unit at the planet attacks, it can move to an adjacent planet or HQ. The important thing is it's got the 2 command hammers, so I'm stopping his Rogue Trader getting any bonuses there. Carnivore Pack, you've seen them before, down on Planet 1. They're really, really good for Planet 1. You guarantee that if I want to stop him, I'm giving him resources. But actually, quite happy to let him have resources. So really, I should have put my Blood Axe Strategist over on Carnath or Aatrox to stop him drawing more cards. That would have been a better use, because actually, I'm quite happy for his Rogue Trader to be getting resources. He's got heaps of resources, but I want to make sure he's got few options for the cards. The Swordwind Farseer, the Earthcast Technician, has meant that he's managed to keep up with his card draw because they give him searches, but I really should have been trying to stop that. So this turn, not ideal. I should have tried to put Crush Face at the front to overwhelm Planet 1 if I wanted to do that, and in lieu of that, I should have put the Strategist somewhere different in order to really make his game more difficult. So finally, I'm done. I've got no other options now. Oh, sorry. Okay, and he plays out a Dire Avenger Exarch, which is a pretty massive call. 3 cost unit, 1 command, 2 attack, 4 HP, and it means I have to declare warriors at the planet as defenders. So it's an incredibly useful defense mechanism against your warlord. So he's presumably going to go to Carnath, or maybe he's going there to just preemptively hoping that... yeah, I'm not sure. So, did I go to 4 or 5? Oh, he went to 4. I've gone to 5 because I decided I wanted to stop him getting cards, and he did go to 4 where he put the Exarch. So, he's still got quite a lot of draw there, but it was mostly resources, and he did get 1 card, which is a drag. Also, if I had sent my Strategist to a different planet to block the card draw, I could have gone to Yavin, because he's only got 1 card. It means I've got pretty good odds of being able to trigger Yavin, put my Crack Fang in, because he's very expensive in a Swarm deck, but I could have put Crack Fang in, and I'd have pretty good odds that he wouldn't have any units that he's able to put in. So I decide, it's a big call here, but I decide I'm going to Squigify the Carnivore Pack at Planet 1. That blanks their box except for traits, so it no longer gains a resource bonus. and it also reduces it to 1 attack, so it will only be able to do a very minor ping against me. Now, again, this turn is not my ideal turn, because I was thinking, again, I'm stopping him getting that resource bonus, but actually I do not care about him getting all those resources. So realistically, I should have probably used Squigify as a shield, and I would have taken the same amount of damage. He could happily have taken the resource cost, but I would have still had 3 resources for my next turn. So Squigify used as a shield in that situation would have got me into the exact same position I'm in, only he would have had more resources, and he's got heaps. I really don't care how many resources he has. So he would have been able to do 1 ping. The Goth boys would have swung back and killed it. The technician would have finished it off, but I would have been 3 resources richer. So he gains Fharenal. I don't have any other shields. So yeah, a lot of mistakes on this game, in this turn at least, where I don't maximize my own economy, I don't try and limit his economy, and then I waste resources that I didn't need to use. So not an ideal turn. Don't look at this as an example of how to play. But he gets Fharenal, and he gets rid of that Snakebite Thug again. No, sorry, he gets rid of the Snotling, which is an interesting choice. The Snotling's going to be destroyed at the end of the combat phase, so I guess he's decided it's used up that way, I guess. So I've got nothing to oppose him on Karnath. He wins Karnath. And he uses Aatrox to get rid of that Snotling. Not many other particularly strong abilities there. Yavan, not great. I've got no resources, so him pinging Osis to get a resource and lose me a resource, not great. If I saved my money on Squigify, he might have chosen that, so he would have then been at 10 resources, and I would have been at 2. But still, I think that might have been a better call. So I attack, which generates a Snotling, and I ping that Farseer for 1. He targets the Farseer. Oh yes, so it's a Psyker that's attacking, so his spiders get to come over, which is quite intense. So I take 2 damage on my Warlord, which is pretty rough. So I have to make a decision. I'm going to swing with the Snotlings, and I'm going to try and finish off that Farseer. So better to eliminate a unit than to spread lots of bits and pieces of damage around, I feel. But I've got nothing I can do about it. Zogwort is bloodied. I've got no shields, and I was exhausted. I hadn't run away. But I feel like I should have just enough to be able to win this planet, hopefully. Let's see. I'm staying with my Snotling and my Snakebite. And he decides to run away to keep the spiders alive as long as possible. And I'm going to try and get some more damage onto his Warlord. I'm hoping I can get his Warlord bloodied any time now. So it kills off the Earthcast and does 1 point of damage to his Warlord and to those spiders. The Snotling is destroyed. The Snakebite gets to stay out as a command unit. Oh, I forgot to put a damage on the Snakebite. Oh no, the Snakebite never actually swung, did it? Oh, so that's fine. Alright, so what am I thinking here? We've got Barlas down at the end there. So there's some solid card draw for him now. I'm thinking I might need to bring out Crushface to help my economy at this point. Yeah, I don't have many resources, so I've decided I'll go Crushface. So he's a 3-cost unit, 2 command hammers. He's unique, so he's a particular guy. He's got 2 attack, 3 hit points, which is fine, but every Orc unit you deploy to the same planet reduces its cost by 1. So he really benefits a swarmy deck like what I'm running here, because things like this Rickety War Buggy, completely free. It's a 1-cost unit with no command, but it's 3 attack, 1 hit point, and if the opponent has the initiative, units cannot deal that unit damage. So area effect doesn't damage it, attacks don't damage it, and even abilities like the Shrieking Exarch couldn't damage it while it had initiative. because it's damage coming from the unit. So the war buggy is quite cool like that. Now obviously I've got initiative, so the effect isn't in play, but it's a free unit. It just adds a bit more oomph to that first planet. He throws a carnivore backpack down to Aatrox, implying to me that he's either going to Aatrox or he's expecting me to go to Aatrox, because he's expecting it to get into a fight and possibly get killed. I put out an ammo depot, which is a support for a 1 cost. You exhaust the support when you have 3 cards or fewer, and it lets you draw a card. So I use it, I get a shooter mob, which is perfect. 1 cost unit with 1 command hammer, 2 attack, 1 HP, and no special rules. But I can put that down for free on the first planet, and I might as well, Might as well throw it out there. So I'm going to planet 2, and he's going to planet 5. He needs that card draw. He is desperate for that card draw, so that's him going down to planet 5. I go to planet 2 because I'm hoping to trigger Yavin, and I'm hoping he doesn't get too many good options out of his draw. What do I pick up there? I don't know. But I get 4 resources out of the deal as well, which is pretty good. Because my Snakebite still wins the command, as the Carnivore pack has no command. My Warlord wins over the Rogue Trader. All my units at Planet 1 win. So that was a really good turn for me. A really good, at least it was a really good resource command turn for me. So we get to battle at Planet 1. I have initiative, and I swing with my 3 attack unit. Which is fine, gets him there. And barring anything else, I'll take a resource, thank you very much. Yep, great. Happy with that. Take the planet. So I've got 1 of green and 1 of blue at this point, and here's 1 of red. So all of these battles so far have been very inconsequential. Kill the Rogue Trader with my Strategist. Possibly I should have used the Strategist should have gone to Planet 2 to win command there, but actually I was thinking, so I trigger Yavin, throw in Crackfang, 6 cost, 1 command. He is an elite knob, unique warrior, and he has the mob up specialization. If you have more orc units at a planet, they all get +1 attack, which is great. I love it. It is so brilliant. It is so orky. And he gets a free Black Guardians, which is an interesting warrior unit to see. 2 cost, because there's no command. 2 attack, but 4 hit points. So it's a real solid Eldar fighting unit, but with no command. It's quite an interesting one for him to have included. It's very cheap for its stats. It's good for that. So, I mean, the Carnivore pack is 1 resource more, but you get the money back for the same sort of stat line. A similar stat line, anyway. So it's interesting that he had that. I had to randomly discard. I lost my Scrap Nabber, which is a shame. I would have liked to have the resources to get all of my cards out of my hand, but that's alright. As I was saying, good to have the Strategist on the first planet, because if I take all of these units to the first planet, if any of them get to attack, I can shuffle them over to the second planet quite easily. Now, obviously, when they move to the next planet, they're exhausted, so a good trick is to be waiting with your Warlord there and be able to pick off these exhausted orcs as they arrive from their other battles. So, we find I don't think the Hidden Strike Chainsword has been set up for Deep Strike properly on Octagon, because he plays it here and then puts it back, and it shouldn't have done that. It should have given him the option to Deep Strike it when he double clicked it, you know. So it shouldn't have just popped up onto the table like that, which is very frustrating for him. Okay, so he's got another card that goes into reserve. Pops that over by the Exarch with the Carnath. And I'm just basically interested in getting Planet 1 here, so then I'll have 2 green and 2 blue planets, which will give me a win condition on all of the remaining planets, which is nice. So I get my own guide recruits, 2 cost Astra Militarum allies, 2 cost, 2 command, or what is it, 1 attack, 2 hit points. Very standard but useful command, and they're good because I can use that to overwhelm the Spider's command, so I'm stopping him getting those cards again. And the Hidden Strike happens again. which is really, really weird. And he's trying to, I think he's trying to change his hand, set his hand so that it's going to work how he needs it to work. Oh, and I have to remind him to get his resource back because it paid for the train sword before he took it away. Yeah, so that's really frustrating for him. I don't quite know what's happening there. Yeah, he's not happy with it. And it really... Yeah, so at that point he says he wants to concede, which is fine. I'm pretty sure that my huge mob, I'd be able to do a lot of damage on Planet 1, depending on what he had available, but that is a shame. So I think I was in a good position here with my swarm, but I'll just have to see what I can do with it next time. Until then, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll catch you again later. Bye-bye.